George W. Bush, the compassionate conservative. George W. Bush, or George Walker Bush, was born on July 6, 1946 in New Haven, Connecticut. He is the son of Barbara Bush and the son of George H. W. Bush, who is also known as the 41st President of the United States. Bush was the eldest of 6 children, and at the age of 2, Bush and his family moved from Connecticut to Texas. In 1961, at the age of 15, Bush then moved again to attend the Phillips Academy, which was located in Massachusetts. In 1964, Bush attended Yale University with the help of family connections and connections through his father. In 1968, Bush enlisted in the Texas Air Force Guard and was discharged from the Air Force Reserve in 1974. In 1975, Bush earned his MBA from Harvard University, and in 1977, George Bush met his soon-to-be wife, Laura Welch, who was a librarian and a school teacher. Before entering into politics, Bush owned and operated an oil company, which was first his father's. In 1978, Bush ran for the House of Representatives, representing Texas, and in 1986, Bush decided to take his political career a little more seriously, so he sold his oil business and moved to D.C. While in D.C., Bush worked on his father's presidential campaign, and then later on his own presidential campaign. In 1994, Bush became the governor of Texas, and in 1999, he ran for the president of the United States with his running mate, or vice president, Dick Cheney. In 2000, Bush won the election over Democrat Al Gore, who was from D.C. and was also the vice president for Bill Clinton. George Bush was president from 2000 to 2009. He had 2 terms. During his presidency, al-Qaeda troops were attacking the United States, and the war in Iraq had begun in 2003. Around the world, in Cuba, Fidel Castro resigned from power. Back home in the United States, natural disasters were deeply devastating the community. Disasters such as Hurricane Katrina in Louisiana, Hurricane Rita, and Hurricane Ike struck. Also, advances in technology were appearing with the introduction of the first ever Apple iPod in 2003. Bush's domestic policy was not his strongest suit. The No Child Left Behind Act was passed in 2001. It was designed to give equal opportunity for education, but in reality, it just put an emphasis on standardized tests, and there wasn't enough emphasis on the people who needed special education or the people who couldn't relate to or take standardized tests. A plus in Bush's domestic policy was Medicare Part D, which was passed in 2006, and this was aimed towards reducing the cost of prescription drugs. Also, a big deal in Bush's domestic policy were his tax cuts in 2001 and 2003. These tax cuts reduced federal revenue by about $4 trillion in the span of 10 years, and this did things like decreased overall unemployment in America. For his foreign policy, there was Operation Anaconda in 2002 via the CIA. It was an attempt to destroy al-Qaeda and the Taliban forces, but in reality, it took thousands and thousands of innocent lives. The Bush Doctrine, which was first introduced in 2002, basically stated that the United States had the right to fight back if anybody tried to come intervene with United States relations. This also sparked issues with other countries, and it sparked a declaration on a war that would last almost a decade. The war in Iraq lasted about 8 years. Um, the passage of PEPFAR was AIDS relief around the world. It helped billions and billions of people in third world countries with the issue of AIDS. Um, and yeah, that's Bush's presidency.